morning and welcome to Cover 2 Cook. We're on episode 47. So buckle up. Got a lot to talk about today. We're going to recap the Thursday night football for the NFL, talk Friday night conference championships, talk about the college playoffs and what that means, and then talk about the must-watch today for college football, and finally our bets. So buckle up. We got a lot to talk about. But before I get too far, let me bring on my co-host, Mr. Tim Cook. How you doing today?
I'm doing good today. We had a pretty good Thursday night game. We've already started into the conference championships with 2 games on Friday, and we've got some good games I think going to happen on Saturday afternoon and Saturday night.
Oh, I totally agree, and I think there's 4 that we're going to talk about that are the main ones that have to do college playoff wise. There's a lot of conference championship games today. You got the MAC in there. You got some other ones that are just playing. So definitely keep an eye on that. But let's get right to that Thursday night football. Packers versus Lions. Lions kick a field goal to win it at the end. What do you think about this game?
I thought this was a good game. I thought at the beginning, it just seemed, I mean, they went right down the field, the Lions did, and they got that 7-0 lead with Montgomery's rushing touchdown. And then, Green Bay got the ball, and they were moving it, but they just didn't move it enough. I mean, they just were just lethargic, it seemed like. And then they went right back down, and they had the ball. Green Bay has the ball, and that Reed fumbles it. It's just like, and they made them pay for it. They ended up kicking the field goal to be 10-0. But then they finally got going in the first half and finally got scored with Jacobs rushing touchdown, made it 10-7. But then Lions being Lions, you got that. They made a 4th down, and they got Gibbs a rushing touchdown, 17-7. And it's just like, it just seemed like they was doing enough. That defense of Detroit's is just not, you can tell, it's just not. And I think going down the road, I think that's going to be an issue down the road. They better hope that they can get a playoff game.
Well, and I definitely agree.
Or I would say throughout to the Super Bowl, because I don't know. I mean, I don't know how much that defense more can take.
Well, and I definitely think that's what you're starting to see. Is this later in this game, Green Bay came back, and it's the exact same happened with the Bears. Is because the defense gets tired. They don't have lines of people to go through. It's the people that are starting the game are the people that finish the game, right? Yeah. And they're playing a lot of snaps. You can definitely see, and it looked like even in this game that more Lions guys went down. I saw the DBs, I saw a couple of safeties. So, and we don't know what the long term. But the thing is, we gave the Chiefs and we said they find a way to win. Well, you know what? So do the Lions, because Lions have now beat the Vikings on a last-second field goal. They've beat the Packers on a last-second field goal, and they beat the Bears on not a last-second field goal because the Bears didn't decide to kick the field goal, right? They're finding ways to win these games. I will say, though, if this defense keeps finding injuries, they are totally beatable. Because if Green Bay would have started that game with just something, they would have won this game. I mean, the way that they ran the ball on Detroit, it is something that every team in the NFC North, I feel, has the potential of doing. And I feel like it's exactly the Eagles' playbook. Which
Barkley.
So I definitely think that they're beatable. But what I also noticed in this game is the sacks given up. Green Bay doesn't have that dominant defensive line. They have a good defensive line, but not dominant. And they were giving up sacks. I think they had 3 or 4 sacks in this game. It's like, that can't happen. Because you're going to go against teams that have better defensive lines. I think the Vikings have a better defensive line than the Packers, and that's one of the teams you may have to face in the playoffs. But I think what we saw at this Thursday night game, too, is how good the NFC North is.
Yeah.
I mean, the Green Bay Packers are giving the Lions a run for their money, right? In Detroit, and that's the number 1 power ranking team right now, okay? So where do you put Green Bay? Vikings are going to come play Detroit soon too. If the Vikings come down and play the way that they did, that might be a game where you're saying, okay, so the top 5 power rankings, are you putting 3 of them as the NFC North?
Yeah, yes, because I think you got to put either Detroit or Philadelphia 1-2, and then you got to put Green Bay, and then it's everybody else. I mean, it's everybody else. I mean, Washington's taking a step back. The NFC West, they're just playing 500 ball, pretty much the whole division. Yeah, I'd say the Vikings might either be 4 or 5.
Well, and then I think if you look on the AFC, so if you say the whole NFC, the NFL, I think you got Ravens up there and Chiefs. Outside of that, I don't think there's any Buffalo.
Buffalo's got to be right there. You got to put Buffalo in there.
I'm still not sold on them. And then Steelers, I'm still not
Right.
sold on them yet either.
Yeah.
So I
Right.
think you're looking at the total NFL, maybe top 7, top 8,
Right.
3 of them are NFC North alone. I mean, when you look at the NFC, I do understand the Eagles are a potential, but if that defense keeps playing the way it is, I think they're a Super Bowl caliber team. But if they take a step back, I think it's
well, and that's what the biggest deal too is that defensive line was getting not really gashed, but Jacobs was getting his runs up the middle. So now if you play a Philadelphia team like Barkley that could get outside and run, that could be. And Barkley could go up the middle, but Barkley does most of his running on the outside. This could be dangerous for Detroit. That's why I think they got to have the home field advantage all the way to the Super Bowl. Because if they have to go on the road to play at Philadelphia, they're going to get beat. They will get beat. One thing we need to talk about is the fourth down.
Yeah, see,
I just don't know about this. I know you can't coach by regular season and playoffs, but I think you got to kick the field goal there. I'm sorry, you got to kick it and take your chances. And maybe why he didn't is because he knew his defense is gassed and they were done. So he knew that if we don't make it on this fourth down, then they may beat us anyway. It ain't going to matter.
See, I like it. I liked it in this situation. I'm not saying all fourth downs. I'm not saying all that.
Right.
I think he came down his fourth down wants for things. But in that situation, I think he did it exactly what you just said. I didn't think he had the trust in his defense to hold them to only a field goal.
Right.
Or less than a field goal. Like, I could have saw them scoring a touchdown. The way that Green Bay was playing in that second half, they were going to go down the field. And it just was one of these things where his offensive line and his running attack, because what I will say about this game is we just saw what the NFC is going to be this year. It's going to be run the damn ball.
Yeah.
Between Eagles, the Vikings, and Green Bay and Detroit. I think it's the running attack is what is the future for the NFC North right now. So fourth down, I'm running that ball. I'm getting that first down. I'm gonna put the icing on the cake. And it's also, it's kind of one of those manhood things. It's like, yo, we beat you, and we ended our own game the way we wanted to. So,
and it could have been a lot more dangerous because did he step on one of his linemen's foot, or did somebody of them step on his foot?
Yeah.
He fell down. That could have been if the exchange doesn't go well and he fumbles the ball. Now we're talking a totally different ball game. It was very dangerous. I don't know. He did it last year in the playoffs in the NFC Championship, and I don't know. I'm old school. Just take the points. Take the points.
Yeah, I don't know.
And take your chances. So.
But it was 2 good running attacks on Thursday. And then we go to Friday night with the conference championship, Boise State versus UNLV. And we'll talk about the future running back that's going to be in the NFL, Gentry. What do you think about this game?
Yeah, I thought that, boy, UNLV decided to play in the second half. I mean, they did not look very good at all. I mean, that defense is, you know what? Another thing, too, is that quarterback for Boise State, that Madsen, he's pretty good. He can throw the ball. He can throw some dimes down the ball. I mean, they've got a very good team with the running attack of Genty, and he had, 30 carries for over 200 yards? I mean, he's just a bowling ball. I mean, he just makes – but I was really impressed with Madsen, the quarterback for Boise State. I mean, he was throwing dimes all game.
Yeah, I think UNLV was like, okay, we don't need to stop Genty. We just need to control him. And you did. You did up until 20 seconds left in the first half, and then he takes a 75-yard touchdown. Now, looking at this team, I don't think they're a playoff dark horse. I don't think they are. Watching UNLV play and watching Boise State play each other, it was like any SEC team should have no problem with them. I think Notre Dame has no problem with them. I think Oregon has no problem with them. Yeah. I can see a team like Penn State could have a problem with them only because they both have the same atmosphere of running the ball and holding on to the ball as long as they can. But when I look at this, it was like Genty has had this great year. Now, I'm going to say this, and I have to say this real quick. He is your Heisman. Stop it. And here's why.
Okay.
Because when you make decisions on Heismans, you decide what kids want to be when they grow up to play football, okay? And it's always been a quarterback thing, and that's why all the kids want to be quarterback, right? But if you do not give it to this running back, why would you ever want to be a running back? We just saw in the NFL that they're not paying you, and the teams are saying, hey, we're done with you. Saquon Barkley, Derrick Henry, they went to other teams.
Right.
This running back is second or third overall of rushing yards in a year.
Second. He's not far behind Barry Sanders.
Yes, and technically the season's over, but like
right.
But like it's just one of these things where it's like, when are we going to say that if I have a kid, why be running back? You're not going to. You're going to get over abused in this in the position, and you have 0% chance to win the Heisman because this guy just ran for second highest. Now, I'm not trying to take what's away from Travis Hunter. He played both sides of the ball, but he is not the best wide receiver in college football, and he's not the best corner in college football. Jeanty is the best running back in college football. Yeah. You have to give it to him. I'm tired of it. I'm done. If they give it to Travis Hunter, it's all because of all the publicity stuff that he's done. He's a great player, but Jeanty is the best running back in college football. Like,
yeah, that's why I think they'll give it to Hunter, because he plays better competition. He plays in the Big 12 compared to the Mountain West. That's the deal too. Is what would he do in the Big 12? I'm not just saying even going to SEC or Big 10. What would he do in the Big 12? Would he have the numbers like he does? I doubt it. I really do.
I don't. And the reason why I say this is because watching him last night, his thing is not that he's over powerful. It's not that he's super fast. He's a good running back. There's times where he takes a hit, stays on where
that's true. Right.
He keeps his balance and keeps going. That's what I like about Jeanty is what I saw from what I saw from him yesterday. And I've watched many games, but definitely yesterday is he has NFL talent, because it's not his attributes that are what makes him the running back. Don't get me wrong. That 75-yard run, he took it to the house and outran a DB. Okay, cool. But how many times did he get hit? And how many missed tackles did they have to cause? Because every time you'd hit him, you should fall forward. Nope, he stays on his feet, keeps going.
Right. Well, and also, too, if you've seen at the end of the game, he ran for 200 yards and does a backflip.
Yeah.
This guy's an athlete. This guy is a specimen. Yeah. There's no doubt about it.
Well, and then that moves us to another running attack game. Army versus Tulane. Just to recap, Boise State won that game 21-7. They will be in the college playoffs with that win. Yeah. We'll talk a little bit about the college playoffs right after this. But Army versus Tulane. Army beats Tulane 35-14. I think this team is just a great story. Army used to be just a footnote in a team's schedule. Right now, it's a game that you have to prepare for. Right. I found out yesterday in the commentary that the coaching staff lives on campus with the players. And so the coach that is there, the way he's changed that program in the 11 years he's been there now, their 11th season, and they made one bowl game, or they had one winning season from the past. Now they've had 5 winning seasons. They've made 5 bowls. It's just crazy what they've had. But this was right here just a story of Tulane. We just didn't see them play enough. And Army we saw play. And Army just beat the piss out of them, 35-14. What'd you think about this game?
Yeah, Tulane didn't have an answer for that option. They did not have They didn't have an answer for Bryson Daly, that quarterback. He had 4 rushing touchdowns. He was just running all over the place. And even Tulane kind of stepped on. They missed 2 field goals. They threw an interception. They fumbled the kickoff return. They just did not. They didn't come ready to play. That Minshew for Tulane is just, he's a good quarterback, but he had two interceptions. They had 2 turnovers. They just didn't. I guess it would be hard to play at. So that's one of the games this on Friday night is. It's not a neutral site game. It's a home game for somebody. So that makes a big difference as well, I think. Well, and I think we're going to see that in the playoffs.
And that's actually where I was just about to go. Is we kind of got just a little sample of what the first round of playoffs is going to be.
Right.
Play at your location for it. And I definitely think that playing at West Point, because I laughed even if you go to a West Point game, if you go to an Army game, you have to have security clearance to get into the game.
Yeah.
So it's like one of these things where not just add to the travel, you have to deal with that stuff. It is a play there, but I think Army, even with all their injuries, still play this game well. I don't think they're a college playoff team. They won't make it to the college playoffs, unfortunately. But conference win after being the first year in this conference, which we're going to bring up a lot when we talk about these conference championships.
Well, and next week, I think Army-Navy, that is going to have to be a must-watch.
Yeah.
Because I think those 2 teams are right. They're playing. They play good all year. Usually it's Army-Navy, okay, it's the academies. It's for the prestige. This one, I think, is going to be a really good game.
Yeah, I unfortunately do think that Army's took steps forward throughout the year where Navy
Yeah.
had. So I think
Yeah, I agree.
but that game always just brings like a little bit of the love, or not love, but you have pride on that game, right? You
Right.
just the way they kind of put on that show is good too. The other
Yep.
game that I wanted to bring up was Jackson State winning the Conference USA, first year of Coach Rich Rodriguez, I believe.
Yes.
So first year at Jackson State, he wins the conference. I would like to say I would watch out. He might not be there much longer. West Virginia's got an open position. He coached at West Virginia back in the day. That might be where he goes eventually. But they beat the piss of whoever they even played. But they won like five.
Right.
So let's get on to the college playoffs, right? So real quick, I'll recap who they had on Tuesday night as the finals for this. Number 12, Arizona State. Number 5, Penn State. Number 9, Tennessee. Number 8, Ohio State. Number 11, Alabama. Number 6, Notre Dame. Number 10, Indiana. Number 7, Georgia. Number 4, Boise State. Number 1, Oregon. Number 3, SMU. And number 2, Texas. What do you think about this?
Yeah, the Clemson one they dropped 5 spots.
Yeah.
But here's the deal: if they beat SMU, they're in because they win the conference. I think that's I think there's got to be some tweaking going on with that. I get it. You want to keep all 4 champions to get in, but maybe they don't get a bye. They'll get a bye. And I don't know if I like that. I think there's going to have to be some tweaking in this college football playoffs. One team from the Big 12, I mean, the winner of SMU and Clemson makes it. Miami dropped 6 spots and is probably out. I mean, they can't do anything else. Boise State's win, they're in, which we already know that. And Ohio State only dropped 4 spots by getting beat by Michigan. Yeah. They got 2 losses right now. I mean, their one loss is against Oregon, which, they're number 1. But I was kind of surprised that maybe they should have dropped a little bit farther.
Well, and so my thing about this is I didn't love the comments after saying that, well, we're not going to reassess this because if you're not playing, you're out. There's no more data points.
Right.
That's
right.
bullshit. Don't look at it, but also the teams that play. Because now, in my mind, Notre Dame's in a perfect situation. Just get into the playoffs as the final week, and then you're in every year. You're not rewarding winning conference. You're not rewarding it because the other thing about it is, you get a first-round bye, which is nice, right? And that is something
right.
Into the national championship, unless they have to play. But at the same time, it's like one of these things where, so even if Oregon wins today, so their number 1 team, they say the number 1 spot, they're going to take on the winner of Ohio State, Tennessee. That's a pretty damn good little run out. I'd rather be Penn State or Arizona State at number 5. And that's what the one thing they were worried about was you almost want to be number 5 when you look at this the way it is.
I know.
And what I don't understand as a Notre Dame fan is, why are we not number 5? Why? So if Penn State gets absolutely the doors blown off them, which I'm betting on that game today, and I'm going to tell you right now, I think the doors are going to get blown off their car. Why are they 5? Why are they 5? Like, that's the easiest route for Notre Dame. Now, at the same time, looking at this, Notre Dame taking on Alabama, that gives me flashbacks of national championship of 12.
Right.
But I'm going to tell you right now, at Notre Dame,
I
like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, and I didn't like that neither when he said that they could, if you're not playing today, you're more likely whatever you're at is where you're staying. And I think it comes back to that Northern Illinois loss.
Yeah.
It comes back to that. I think the only way they could win 5 is to win undefeated.
Well, and I think this is the final thing I'll say about this too, is they got to, they were talking about the conference or your schedule, how hard your schedule. Straight to schedule, yes. And I think that has to be in play because, like Booger McFarland said, if you don't put that in retrospect or put that into the whole thing, then you're going to get a slippery slope where you're not going to have big games throughout the year because nobody's going to want to play each other because, hey, I just need a win to get in.
Right.
I think my on the outs is hard because we saw them so high. I just think that at the same time, you look at SMU, awful strength of schedule. You got Arizona State in there, awful strength of schedule. You have Indiana, awful strength of schedule, like awful. Notre Dame did not have a great strength of schedule, but they beat ranked teams this year. That's the only thing I think what I was talking to my wife about. They beat 4 ranked teams this year.
Yeah.
I mean, can we name any other team that beat 4 ranked teams?
Right.
No. Like, you can't name any one of them. So I think thing. Today you'll see obviously Georgia and Texas can make a flip. Oregon and Penn State can make a flip. SMU could either be pushed out, which I think they're going to get pushed out if they lose. Clemson comes in, but and Boise State already locked it up. But all the 12 through 5 are not playing. Penn State's playing and Georgia's playing. That's the only two. Tennessee and Ohio State are not playing. Notre Dame's not playing. Alabama's not playing.
Right. And you know what? And they may not say this, but in the back of their mind, they want to see a Notre Dame Alabama game. That committee does want to see it. Nostalgia. They want to bring people into their deal. And they're going to bring them in there anyway, but I think they're leaning towards that because of that.
Yeah. Well, and at Notre Dame for an Alabama, that's a lot of money. Notre Dame's
yeah.
So let's get into the must watch right off the bat. Iowa State versus Arizona State. I think this is a key matchup. Obviously, Iowa State's not in the playoffs right now. If they win, they're in. But you got to shut down that Cam Skabudo or whatever.
Yeah. Scadaboo.
Yeah, you got to shut him down. Iowa State has receivers. They're going to throw the ball. And it's great because it's the matchups. Right here, you're looking at Arizona State. They can't stop the pass. They can stop the run. Well, Iowa State likes to throw the ball. They're going to throw the ball. Arizona State likes to run the ball. Iowa State can't stop the run, but they can stop the pass. These are going to go – the defense's strengths are against the offense's weaknesses. So this is going to be a high-scoring game. This will be a fun game. What do you think?
Also, too, I think in this game, it's going to be a little bit of experience, too, as far as playing in a conference championship. Last time Iowa State was 2020. Arizona State hasn't played in one since 2013 when they were in the Pac-12.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's been over 11 years for them. I think the biggest deal is Iowa State or Arizona State is playing really good ball right now. They're the hottest team probably in the country, one of the top hottest teams in the country. Can they get that Scadaboo going and get the ball down the field with Sam Levitt? But also, too, Iowa State, they're throwing a tag of Rocco Beckton. Can he keep it moving, too? I mean, they won last week Arizona State won 49-7 against Arizona last week, but Iowa State had a hell of a time with their team. I'm actually going to bet on this game, so I'll let you know a little bit more later.
Yeah, well, and I think the thing in this game is Iowa State's going to have to throw the ball. Arizona State's going to, right? Yeah. So you're controlling the clock if you're Arizona State. So if you get behind, you're screwed. Yeah. But where Iowa State, on the other hand, if they get behind, they're going to throw the ball. I just think Arizona State is going to make plays in defense that's going to cause this game to go one way as well. And we may have the same bet on that one. We'll have to look at that one. But that takes us to the SEC championship. Georgia versus Texas. Now, remember, both these teams did play each other already, and Georgia got that win. Both teams will be going to the playoffs, just depending on whether you're getting a first-round bye or not. This is an opportunity for hosting a playoff game, but both quarterbacks did not play very great that first game. They'll have to play better. What do you think about this game?
Yeah, I mean, Georgia's 7-1 in the last 8 games, and the winner clinches a bye. I think the winner of this gets the bye into the CFP. Can Georgia's defense slow down Ewers? Because he's thrown 2 or more passes in 5 of the last 6 games. I think that's going to be the big key. Is can you keep him, slow him down, and play better defense? I mean, Texas defense is really good. They've been holding opponents to 11.7 points a game. I think Carson Beck's going to have a monster game. I think that field in the middle has got to be wide open. They've got to give him time to pass. If they don't, it could be a long game. Now, this is a neutral site game, so it's going to be in Atlanta. They said right now it's probably going to be 80-20. Georgia, over 80% of the fans are going to be Georgia fans.
Yeah.
Which I was shocked on that. I'm surprised that Texas fans don't travel very well. I take it. But it sounded like to me that Georgia fans bought up a lot of the tickets.
Well, and I think you got to remember the first time they played each other, it was at Texas. It wasn't at Georgia. It was at Texas.
Right.
And Quinn Ewers was just coming off that injury. Now, that defense for Texas has definitely taken 10 steps.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Compared to what they had that game. I just think when the crowd, yes, you say 80-20, and it's pretty much a home game for Georgia in this thing. Right. I'm betting on this game as well. I just think this game, I think there's one team that has shown throughout the year that they are a great team, and there's a team that we said multiple times, they got to have a good game. They got to have a good game. And they have to have a good game this game. Right. I just do it now that we're in the playoffs. You haven't turned it on yet. You got to turn it on. But
Well, and Beck can't throw 3 interceptions like he did against them in Austin. He cannot do that. I mean, that's just one thing. One thing too is Georgia's got experience in this SEC championship. They've been in the 6 out of the last 7 years, which was really, I was shocked on that. And Texas, this is their first year in the SEC. So I mean, but SEC, Big 12, but it's still they've got the experience. Kirby Smart will have this team ready to play.
yeah, and I think you look at last week's games, obviously Georgia Tech takes them into 6, 7 overtimes, whatever.
Eight overtimes.
8 overtimes. And so you're looking at that where Texas handles Texas A&M pretty well. So, but another one too is Trevor Etienne or whatever is questionable for this game.
Oh, the running back for Georgia,
and he had a big game at Texas. So that'll be takes us to the Big Ten championship, Penn State versus Oregon. What do you think about this game?
I think the winner of this one could be the number 1 overall seed.
Yep.
I think Penn State could jump that high, which is shocking. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not real, because I know you beat the number 1 overall seed right now, but you've got other teams ahead of you that are a little bit better than what they are. This is the 5th time these two teams have met. Penn State holds a 3-1 advantage. I think the key will be, can that defense of Penn State slow down Gabriel and Tez Johnson and all of them? They've got, because that offense can click and they can run right over you. And before you know it, it's 28-0, and you haven't sat down and you haven't any popcorn yet.
Yep. Well, and I think Dillon Gabriel's been using his feet a lot more for Oregon, and I think that's changed a lot of what their offense is. In the beginning of the year, it seemed like he was being more of a pocket quarterback. That's what he wasn't. Right. That wasn't what he was in Oklahoma, or all the places, Nebraska, wherever the hell he played before that. So it isn't who he is. But I think when you look at this game, it's that running attack of Penn State versus Oregon's defense.
Right.
Big Ten football, can you shut it down? Wisconsin took advantage of it and almost beat you. Right?
Yeah.
This is a neutral site. It's in Indianapolis, which is more of a favor for, I guess, Penn State than Oregon because of geographic. But Oregon fans are loyal. So I think they'll travel well for this one. This is another team, first year in the conference championship. We just said Texas right there. We just had, isn't Arizona State, is this their first year?
Yes. Yeah.
Arizona State, you just talked about Army went into it. You're going to talk later on SMU as they're now. So I think when you talk about this, it's, I did read that the last time they played each other was in 1995.
Wow. Rose Bowl?
So looking at this, I definitely think when you look at it is you just made the comment that if they win, I just don't see them. Then how do they win it? If you don't think that they can be the number, how do they win this game? I like this. I'm also betting on this game because I know there's even a chance that Penn State has in this game.
Well, I think another thing too for Penn State, they've got to get Drew Allaire. He's got to get going. He cannot make too many mistakes, and he's got to get the ball to Warren, that tight end. Yeah. There's a lot of people saying about this tight end for Penn State. Mind you, a lot of Brock Bowers, how big he is, how quick he is, he can get down the field. If they can get that going, and plus a running tack on the ground, Nicholas Singleton, if they can get that going and keep going, I think this is going to be a track meet, because I don't know how good really Oregon's defense is. I'm kind of skeptical on this. I think the speed of Oregon will overall dominate Penn State, and I think they could. But if Allaire and Warren can get going, this could be a closer game than what people think.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I think you're being a little hopeful in a close game, and I
am. I am kind of hopeful, because the worst thing you want to see on a Saturday night is a blowout. So
yeah, we want good games, right? We want I just think that one where Penn State. I think we needed Ohio State again, and unfortunately,
me too. I was really hoping for it, because I think you could got your popcorn ready, because I think that would have been a hell of a showdown.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. That takes us to our final must-watch game. Clemson versus SMU. What do you think about this game?
Clemson coming off the loss against rival South Carolina. They kind of backed into this playoff deal. And, SMU is playing really good ball right now. I mean, that Kevin, the quarterback for Jennings is slinging it. I mean, this is a very good team. I think I think the biggest deal is going to be SMU's defense. Can they contain Klubnik and that offense? It seemed like last week South Carolina could. I mean, they could contain them a little bit, but Clemson's defense I think, is going to struggle on this because they have a hard time struggling with option quarterbacks. That little Norius Sellers last week ran all over him. And with this Jennings, he can run, but he's not like Sellers, but he can throw the ball down the field. He's got a rocket for an arm. And I think SMU might just put a smacking on Clemson.
Yeah, so it's hard for me to say that they're going to do that only because Clemson plays up to their potential when it's a game that they need to. But when it's a game that they should handle, they always play down, right? And that's what happened in that South Carolina game. They didn't play well. South Carolina just left them in the game, even though Clemson was winning. So then when it came down to the finals, South Carolina wins, which is another team that we didn't talk about in the college playoffs that I think should be in because I think they're that good this year. But when you look at when you look at this game, it's SMU first year in this conference. They have consistently played good defense throughout the year. Consistently.
Yeah.
Can do that again today. I mean, you're going that secondary for Clemson is going to have to take on Jennings, but you're talking about the overall defense of SMU shutting down Cade. I think you're the passing, the running. I don't see how they get the ball down the field unless on a couple big plays, and that's their touchdown plays. And that's it, right?
Right.
I think everyone plays this game throughout the time better. I just don't have trust in Cade that he's going to play a full game in this one. I think the first half he might be good, second half he might be good or whatever, but he's not good throughout the whole game.
Right.
But in this game, it's tough because when we look at South Carolina and stuff like that, if Clemson doesn't win, they're not in. I don't think they deserve to win.
I don't either.
And I don't think they deserve to be in the playoffs if they lose. But at the same time, you're talking about Miami. Everyone's complaining that Miami's not in the playoffs. Well, Miami's not even playing for this conference championship. That just shows how bad that conference was.
Right.
They couldn't even get into this game. And I think that's something that we have to talk about when we talk about the college playoffs. Ohio State couldn't win against Michigan to get in a conference championship. They only went down 4, while Miami went down so much more.
Yeah.
Now, the final thing is SMU has looked good all year. Strength of schedule is in the 80s. In the 80s.
Yeah.
We're going to find out today real quick. And I'll take, even if you win this game, I don't see you guys going very far in the playoffs. So, well, there's other games happening today. There will be other conference championships, like the MAC is in there. There's some other ones, but these are the 4 that are with ranked teams. These all have playoff indications. Let's get to our betting segment. What do you got for your first bet this weekend?
I'm going to go with the MAC attack.
Yeah.
Ohio versus Miami of Ohio. Ohio's coming off a win against Ball State where they led 21-17 and scored the first 21 points in the second half and blew out Ball State. Ohio's led by Parker Navarro. Miami of Ohio's won the last 7. The Red Hawks are led by Brett Gabrick. This is a team that played Notre Dame this year and played them tough in the first half, but then Notre Dame kind of pulled away in the second half. Miami of Ohio's won the last 17 games as a favorite against non-AP ranked teams, and Ohio has failed to cover 3 of the last 4 games at a neutral site venue. Both teams finished with 7-1 conference records. These 2 teams played earlier this year. Miami of Ohio won 30-20. I think this is going to be a good game. The spread is 2.5. I like Miami of Ohio and the money line.
Okay. So that's they're technically getting 2.5, but you're taking the money line on it, right?
Miami is giving 2.5. Miami Ohio is giving 2.5. So I'm taking Miami Ohio on the money line.
Okay, so you don't want to give any points.
No.
Okay.
No, yes. I don't want to give any.
Yeah, no, I get that because that's kind of the same predicament I'm in with my first bet with Arizona State. I like this one money line, but the spread is 1.5. So I'm going to give the points, the 2 points. The only thing that makes me nervous is the last time the Arizona State was in a game clinching time, they decided to run the ball backwards, throw it out of bounds, and almost damn near lose this game. Okay, so do not make this field goal game. Because that coach, either he learned from his mistakes or he didn't. But I'm taking in this game Arizona State minus 1.5. I think Iowa State had to play their best games throughout the end of the year. And now it's like, okay, here we go. You got to now get up and perform and do it again. And I just think it's been too much. It's been too many you must win games. Now it's a game where it's like, okay, it's must win, but can you keep it going? And I just think Arizona State's playing way too good right now. They're running the ball too well against an Iowa State. Yes, you got the passing game, but I think that opens up for the defense to make plays, and I think Arizona State's defense makes plays in this game. What do you got for your second bet?
Well, just to let you know, that's the same bet I've got. I think Iowa State is just is not. Arizona State's playing their best ball. That Scadaboo is just running the hell out of it. I think, like you said, I think that team is just playing a lot better ball right now. And I think I just don't think they can keep it close enough. Iowa State can. I like Arizona State and the 2.5 or 1.5.
Yeah.
Since it went down. Last time I seen it was 2.5. So
yeah, and that's what I looked last night and I saw 1.5 and I was like, I'm definitely going that way. But it makes me nervous with that money line. It's almost one where if you want to play it a little bit safe, I'd take Arizona State money line, right?
Yeah.
Give the 2 points, maybe. I mean, the 1.5.
Right. 1.5. Right.
But it's one of these things where I see it. I see the potential of being a close game, but I also see the potential of it just being a blowout. And that's why I'm going to take the 1.5 or give the 1.5 on that one.
Gotcha.
For my second bet, I'm taking Georgia versus Texas. So last time they played, Georgia had to play damn near a perfect game. They did. Texas made a lot of errors. This is two totally different teams now. If Trevor in the end doesn't play, it is definitely two total different teams. I think Texas defense has stepped up a lot since that game. Georgia's offense has taken a step back. I think Texas's offense has taken a step forward. I think Georgia's defense has stayed as well or better than what that is. It's going to be a great game. So why don't you take the money line? Because I'm not taking money line. I'm doing over-under on this one. I'm saying under 50.5. The first time they played each other, they scored 45. 30 by Georgia, 15 by Texas. I can see it flip-flopping. Texas wins 30. Georgia scores 15, 14, something around there. I don't think they get up to the 50s. I think the defenses are too good to give up that amount of points.
Wow. I thought maybe you'd go with Texas on this one because I was going to bet against you because I think Georgia at home. I mean, this is a home game for Georgia. Yeah. There's going to be too many people there. I think Georgia can win. I think Georgia can win outright. Now you wouldn't have to give me the points.
But see, and that's why I didn't take the spread because I'm nervous. These two teams are just. It's what team are you getting, and that's why I didn't want to do it but the under when I saw 50, they scored 45 in that last game, and that was high scoring for them.
Right. Gotcha.
Your third bet.
Clemson SMU. We were already kind of talked about it. I think SMU is the better team. I think with Jennings throwing the ball, I mean they just got their defense. I think SMU's defense is for real. I think they will shorten up that field for Kate Klubnik. I don't think he's going to have I don't think he's going to have a very good day. And then Mustafa, they'll shut that all down. I know this is kind of a home game for Clemson, so SMU's got to travel. But I just don't. I think Jennings is going to have a strong game, and I think this game could get ugly early. I can see them winning by 2 touchdowns. SMU. I think they're going to just annihilate them. So I like SMU, and I'll give you 2.5 points.
Yeah, I looked at this one. I hate Clemson. I hope they lose. I don't think they deserve to be
that was another reason too.
Yeah, but I don't want to bet on my feelings. I want to bet on what I saw. So I didn't bet this one because I saw a lot more Clemson games than I did SMU. So I don't know enough about SMU to take it. But from the stats, it definitely makes sense for this one. For my third bet, going back to that Big Ten championship, Penn State versus Oregon. Penn State, you don't deserve to be there. Okay, you don't deserve to be there because you got your butt spanked early in the year by, wasn't it Ohio State that beat them?
Yeah.
And so now they're playing Oregon, which Oregon beat Ohio State. Ohio State doesn't look like that team that we thought, oh my gosh, they could win a championship. Well, Oregon has taken steps up since playing Ohio State. Yes, there was that one game was Wisconsin, but otherwise they've handled business as usual. I think they handled business as usual in this game as well. I think they win by more than 3.5. I'll give you 3.5 on this game. I would love the line to be closer to that 3, just in case it does become a close game.
Well, that hook. So the hook scares you.
It does a little bit, but if it goes the way I think it should, it won't even be. You could give them 5. I think you can give them 7. I think this is a game where they could win by 14 to 21 points. Because, I don't think Penn State is the team that should be there. You just don't deserve it.
And I think Oregon is going to show it's going to be a national TV game. It's not the standalone game, but it's coming. And I think that Oregon wants to show everybody who's dominant this year in college football.
Well, and it's a little bit of a pride thing. We came to your that everyone was like, "Oh, you got to get ready for it," and we beat the piss out of every team that
didn't they at the beginning of the year do something in their water or something, a duck. Didn't they have a blow up duck and it was shown as the championship deal? Or didn't they kind of show people at the beginning of the year, hey, we're coming for you, Big Ten? Here, and they did this year.
Well, so for the Big Ten media day or whatever,
yes, that's what it was. Okay.
And it was like, hey, we're here. So
yeah,
I definitely think, and I think Oregon is a team that I will say is right now possibly top 3 to win the national championship. So I just don't see how they make this game close when I don't think Penn State. I could see them even losing first round if we look at the playoffs now where they play Arizona State. I don't even know if they win that game. So, but that is our 3 bets this week. If you do bet with us, please bet responsibly. We're just 2 goons that are talking college football and NFL. We'll be back on Sunday to talk about some must-watch games on that one. A little bit harder. 6 teams on bye. Good luck to all the people that are on fantasy. They got to win to get in. Have a great Saturday. Enjoy it. We'll be back on Sunday.